So, I know it's been about a day and a half, 2 days now that we've gotten to process the information, but Tom Brady is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Yeah. Yeah, so Tom Brady's a Patriot. Nope, that's not right. It rolls off the tongue so easy that it's hard for me to even think about Tom Brady being anywhere else. Apparently the official paperwork still has yet to be done. There's some speculation as to what that is. Most likely it is stemming from the fact that with all this coronavirus stuff, it's hard to actually get in physical contact to sign the contract. But it was announced a hot minute ago that, yeah, Tom Brady's going to Tampa Bay. He's going to be a Buccaneer. At first, I was shocked because I thought that the Chargers were going to be a pretty good fit for him. But after hearing about why Tampa Bay actually makes a lot of sense, it does seem like a pretty good fit. They're willing to give him a lot of money. They're willing to let him have some roster control and, make changes to that. They're willing to fully commit on him for these next 2 years. So it makes a lot of sense. It's still shocking. We all knew that Tom Brady wasn't coming back after he officially said on his social media accounts that he wasn't planning to return to the New England Patriots. But it's still somewhat, hard to fathom because for 20 years he's been the New England Patriots quarterback. He's brought them to 9 Super Bowl championships. He's brought them 6 Super Bowl championships. And yeah, when you have a guy that wins you 6 Super Bowls and 9 appearances over 20 years, it's hard to think that he'd ever leave. But we were hit with that reality. And yeah, I'm not mad about it. Personally, I'm not even a Patriots fan, but it's just one of those things. I'm, 20 years old. I've grown up my entire life thinking that Tom Brady was just always a Patriot. If you think about the New England Patriots, it's always Tom Brady. So what does that mean for Tom Brady going forward? Well, obviously by going to Tampa Bay, he's going to try to compete immediately. Tampa Bay had the number 5 defense last year in the NFL. They have really good weapons at the wide receiver spot and at the tight end as well. We all know the Tom Brady-Gronk connection was great, so hopefully by having a good tight end again, he'll be more successful than he was in New England last year. So obviously this move is Tom Brady trying to compete in the now, and he's trying to get another Super Bowl. And maybe it's a statement win. There is speculation to say that if he does win now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he's trying to prove that he didn't necessarily need Belichick. But that, is just a lot of reading into it. That might not actually be true. It might just be that he just wants to win for the sake of winning. But yeah, so for Tom Brady going forward, he's obviously trying to compete again. He's obviously trying to, get more Super Bowl rings before he retires. I think that's a realistic possibility. Now, he is going into a tough division. He has to go up against the Carolina Panthers, the Atlanta Falcons, and the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, the Falcons weren't great last year, neither were the Panthers. But, I do think they're going to start to rebound, especially the Carolina Panthers, who just signed Teddy Bridgewater, who I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, they ran a lot when he was in St. Louis. It doesn't matter. He still played great in New Orleans. Did I say St. Louis? When Teddy played in New Orleans this season, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, he just ran the ball a lot. No, he still played good football. And I think this is a good move for the Carolina Panthers to sign him. Obviously, it means Cam Newton's on the way out. But yeah, I think that it's going to be a tough division. I still think when you've got Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, you can't ever sleep on that duo. They didn't do great last year, I'm well aware. But they are 2 very talented players at their position. You can never sleep on them. And then you've got the New Orleans Saints, who, need I say more? They've got Drew Brees. They've got that stacked defense. They've got a really good set of offensive weapons. It's a somewhat tough division. And that, to me, is the only thing that I'm worried about with Tom Brady is that, he's going to make it to the playoffs no matter what. He's making it to the playoffs, and, obviously he's going to probably get to the NFC Championship or get at least close to it, but he might not go in as, the seed, like as the division winner. He might have to go into the wild card seed. And that's going to make the playoff journey that much tougher because it means you're going up against tougher competition. But yeah, that's really my only complaint about the Tom Brady move is that he's going to a place that's going to be, much tougher than, maybe than the AFC East was. But, it's still Tom Brady. It's still a good team. And, I think Bruce Arians and Tom Brady are going to really hit it off. I think they're going to do great together. So, who knows? They might come out of the division number one. We'll have to see. In terms of the Patriots' future, obviously, they're going to have to move on, and obviously that's going to be hard. You've had one guy for 20 years that you've always been able to rely on, one guy who has always brought you, just copious amounts of success. So, where do you go from here? There are some intriguing prospects in the draft. You've got, Jacob Eason, Jordan Love, Justin Herbert, obviously Tua and Joe Burrow, but I didn't think they really need mentioned. But, you've got, and there's more quarterbacks as well. You've got interesting quarterback prospects in this draft that could be your next guy for the next 10, 15 years. But we'll have to wait and see. I hope that they end up picking a quarterback. They're going to have to. I'm not saying that Jarrett Stidham's necessarily bad, but I don't know if he's the next great guy for the New England Patriots, especially with limited weapons. You can't always count on Julian Edelman to be on the field. He's good, but you can't always count on him to be on the field. Mohamed Sanu is all right, but not great. They don't really have much of a tight end. Their running backs have seen some injuries. Overall, the offensive situation isn't great in New England. Plus, they did lose some key defensive players in free agency, like Nick Van Noy. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for the Patriots to have success with Jarrett Stidham. I think that personally, in that division, they could still compete, but it's the Bills division now. It is the Bills division, The Bills have a good coach in Sean McDermott. Their quarterback, Josh Allen, starting to look pretty nice. That defense continues to be pretty good. They just got Stephon Diggs, who's going to be a great weapon for Josh Allen. So it's the Bills division to lose. So for the Patriots going forward, I think you have to start rebuilding. And I know that's kind of like a, curse word in the sports language because you don't want to necessarily go on a rebuild. Bill Belichick's not really known to be a rebuilding type of guy. But after losing key players to free agency, obviously Tom Brady, after having a quarterback that's not quite proved himself yet, I think that you do draft a quarterback and you kind of maybe tank a little bit, Start saving up cap space. Start, trying to accumulate draft picks because there's no point in trying to compete right now if you're not going to come close. The Patriots are not going to come close to the AFC Championship. They'll be lucky if they sneak in as a wild card and then first round exit like last year. For the Tampa Bay Bucks going forward, obviously they got Tom Brady. They got a good team. Odds are they're going to make it to the NFC Championship. I'd put the odds pretty high that they at least make it there. Whether they'll win it or not, I'm not sure. There are a lot of good teams at the top of the NFC, so it's going to be very difficult. But I do think that it is a pretty solid situation. I think that, this is a good move, but it does mean they only have a 2-year window for Tom Brady. After 2 years, he's done. Because he's wanted to say that he wants to play until 45. If he plays after that, goodness gracious. But, yeah, so if he ends up sticking around, good. Odds are he's not going to stick around after the 2-year contract, though, so they're going to have some type of option for the future. I say you try to draft your option now. You try to let him learn under Tom Brady and then eventually come in as the guy because that team is still fairly young. Mike Evans isn't old, They still got young talent on the offensive end. So you might as well just develop a guy that can, take over for when Tom Brady's done so then you don't have to tank necessarily when the season's over. When his contract's over. You can just roll into another era of success. But yeah, I think that's the best thing for the Bucs. I think they're in a really good situation now, and I think if they really do end up drafting a quarterback in the next year or two, that quarterback can learn under Tom Brady, get a lot of experience, and then take over when Tom Brady's finally ready to call it quits. The thing that I think is most interesting about this is, what's Jameis Winston's future? And I know, 30 picks in one season. But, one, Dude just got LASIK. He couldn't see all that well. 2, he did throw 36 touchdowns. 3, threw over 5,000 yards. And 4, this was his first year in the Bruce Arians offense, which is a very complex, hard to understand offense in the first year. You have to adjust to it. There's a lot of plays to memorize. And I'm not apologizing necessarily for Jameis Winston. I do think that he's got some problems. I think that his gambler style will lose his games a fair amount of the time. But I think people are being really harsh on Jameis Winston. I think that he was kind of put into a difficult position this year. And yeah, he could not handle it. The future for him going forward is going to be a little interesting. A lot of quarterback positions are starting to fill up now. There's not a whole lot of vacancies at the starting quarterback job anymore. Most of the teams are starting to find their guy, but there are some teams out there who are still looking. Obviously, number one, the Patriots. The Patriots do need a quarterback possibly. They might not want to roll with Jarrett Stidham. I know they've said they like Jarrett Stidham, but they might end up not trying to. And if you can get Jameis Winston to calm down, he's a good quarterback. Jameis Winston has flashes of brilliance. We've seen him dance outside the pocket and make some incredible throws. But the problem is when he gets too excited, when he gets too out of control. That's when you see Jameis Winston throw those pick sixes. That's when you see Jameis Winston make huge errors that should not be committed. Cowboy? Come here. Come here. Come say hi. Dallas Cowboy fan, by the way. That's why the dog's named Cowboy. Come say hi to people. Yeah. That's the people. That's the people. What do you think about Jameis Winston's future, huh? What do you think about Jameis Winston's future? Nothing? Okay. Yeah, obviously you gotta have a dog in a video. It just makes the video better. But, good boy. But yeah, so there are some teams that are needing quarterbacks. And, there are some quarterback vacancies. Like, you've got the Pittsburgh Steelers that are a big one. You've got the New England Patriots. There are some teams that are quarterback vacant, but a lot of teams have found their guys going forward. So, the future for Jameis Winston as a starting quarterback is kind of unclear. And the sad part is, it might be the end of Jameis Winston as a starting quarterback. It makes me sad because I do think if Jameis Winston was in a better situation, and if he sort of get a better sense for the pressure and not, rely too much on his gunslinging instincts, Jameis Winston, I think, would be a perennial Pro Bowler. It's just that he gets too excited. He tries to be the hero way too much, and the sad part is that's what turns him into the villain. That's what makes his team lose. He tries very hard. Every time that he's throwing a ball, you can tell that he's trying. He's just not there yet. And at this point, we're not sure if he ever will be. Jameis Winston's future is unclear, but I do think that there is potential for him to start in the NFL again. So I think if Jameis Winston could find the right place, I think Mike Tomlin would be a really good coach for him. I think that'd be a good situation in Pittsburgh for him. I'd love to see him go there. Because Big Ben's not going to play much longer. I don't think he will. And I know that a lot of people are going to be like, you said there's a quarterback vacancy, but, Big Ben's there. Big Ben's won 2 Super Bowls. I'm aware. I know he's won 2 Super Bowls. But he's getting old, and he's getting injured. He's not going to be around forever. So, might as well have a guy who's coming into his prime. Maybe Mike Tomlin can sort of get this guy to calm down when he's throwing the ball. And if that can happen, Pittsburgh was this close to making a playoff run last year. They were right there. If it wasn't for that loss to the Buffalo Bills, they would have been in the wild card round. And that's with, no offense, not a great quarterback roster. I would venture to say that Jameis Winston is better than Mason Rudolph, is better than Duck Hodges. And yeah, if he can get Jameis Winston to calm down, kind of, bring everything back in, then that's a playoff team. That's a playoff team. It is for sure a playoff team. But yeah, Jameis Winston's future, it's kind of unclear, but I'd love to see him go to a team with a good head coach that can kind of get him to calm down a little bit. I'm not saying Bruce Arians is a bad coach by any means, but he only had 1 year to work with the guy. I feel like Jameis Winston's going to be a bit of a 2 to 3 year commitment. And yeah, I think he does need to prove himself. He's been very inconsistent his time in the NFL. He proved that last year. He made some incredible throws last year, and then he made some absolutely just ludicrous errors. So he does have to prove himself in a new place, but I do think that he's got potential. I think that he can turn things around and actually be a good quarterback. He's got a cannon. He makes incredible throws from time to time. It's just, he's too much of a gambler. You got to get him to calm down a little bit. If he can calm down, there's potential there. But yeah, so for Tom Brady, good situation. For Tampa Bay, good situation. I think this is going to bring in a lot more fans for Tampa Bay. For the Patriots, I do think they're in a bit of a sticky wicket right now. You know, Bill Belichick's not the kind of guy that's going to want to lose and, you know, accumulate draft picks to clear up cap space. But it's probably for the best right now. So I think the Patriots are going to undergo some sort of rebuild, you know. And for Jameis Winston, who knows? I hope Jameis Winston goes on to have a fantastic career. And I hope that he goes on to a place that can cherish him and bring out the best in him. Because, not saying that Tampa's a bad organization, but Tampa was not able to bring out the best in him. And like I said, it's not all Tampa's fault. Jameis Winston does need to prove himself. But I think if you can get Jameis Winston in the right situation, I think he'll be back. I don't really have much else to say. I know this is late. I know this is kind of, you know, a late reaction video. But I mean, I just figured I'd toss my 2 cents in there. But yeah, hope you all have a lovely day. This has been Nick. See ya.